to get going. Gotta catch those runners taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Dr. Chad on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's day trading live stream. Today is Friday, December 19th. S&P futures up $3. NASDAQ is up 70. Russell unchanged. Dow pretty unchanged, down 26. Gold down about 0.25%. Silver up over 1%. Notes and bonds a little bit red. 10-year yield up 0.5%. Oil up 0.5%. Natural gas up 0.5%. The soybeans, wheat, and corn all pretty unchanged. Euro and the pound pretty unchanged. Bitcoin getting a little bounce pre-market, up almost 4%, a little above 88,000. VIX, decent little contraction here overnight, minus 4%, currently at 16.19. As far as kind of my overall thought process about the markets, looking at it pre-market, you know, if the just looking at it from the S&P standpoint, if the S&P breaks below previous day low, I'll have a little bit more of a short bias. If we break above pre-market highs, I'll have a little bit more of a long bias up towards previous day high. So I'll be looking for stocks with relative strength or weakness with levels to manage risk around as always. No 6-7 calendar this morning. No 3 DTE based on how much the VIX has contracted. So just the day trades today, my friends, and the BIX. Obviously, I'm going to start those off. Maybe some discretionary Elmos mixed in. Morning, Hondo. Expected range in SPX looks like it is a little over $39, 39.6-ish. Opening bell in 30 seconds. There's the opening bell. Looks like SPX 39.76 is the expected move. Yesterday was 39.73. So basically identical. So that would put the lower expected move range down at 67.52 and change. The upper at 68.32. S&P pushing them up to pre-market highs. We do have existing home sales and consumer sentiment at 9 a.m. Central, 30 minutes after the bell. All right, NASDAQ pushing above previous day high. S&P above pre-market highs so far. Chip stocks getting a little recovery from the weakness they've seen. AMD, MU, both up almost 3%. Crypto's getting a boost with the Bitcoin gap up. A lot of the quantum computing names are up. Those that are red are Verizon, Kroger, Walmart, just a handful of reds. CoreWeave is up 8%. I have swing trades long in Meta, MSTR, MU, and Tesla right now. All those getting a little bump. PLTR is now up 2%. This market is looking strong for the first 5 minutes. Tesla is dipping. Microsoft is going red now. So some of the big tech are not necessarily holding up. Netflix and Nvidia are doing good. So it's really the chips moving the market so far. Financials also, banks are pumping. Chips and banks. Need big tech to get on board here. I always post in today's plan, Dark Avenger, what I'm trading. Try to put on a 6-7. Let me know how that works out. AMD hovering above yesterday's high. Same with AVGO. AVGO. Yeah, dipping a little bit now. SPY, QQQ, IWM, all still pushing strong. Bitcoin, a little bit of a dip here since the open. Microsoft right around unchanged. Amazon dipping into the red. Apple unchanged. Netflix pushed into the green. MU up 5% now. Is it? Let's see. All-time highs. I put on that swing trade for an all-time high. Had a pretty decent dip yesterday, but let's see. All-time high is 264.75. It's currently at 261.75. So $3 more in MU. And it will pop a new all-time high that was set on December 10th. PLTR pulling back. So keep in mind today, Friday, before a holiday week, most likely pretty low volume today, which can create some whippy price action sometimes. Meta dropping below pre-market lows. Tesla pushed down to unchanged, bounced. S&P coming back down towards pre-market highs, NASDAQ down towards previous day high. So I want to see if these hold. AVGO and MU pulling back to previous day high. MU still pushing. For Meta, one of my contracts on my swing trade, one of my contracts expires today, so I need to. Was hoping to get a little pop up in Meta and get rid of that one, and then the other one has got more time, 21 days, so I'll hold that one. But hoping for a little initial pop in Meta, did not get that. It's acting a little bit weaker. NASDAQ's a little dip, getting bought up. Same with the S&P. Same with AMD, TSM. Bitcoin dipping. Hood is acting weak. Still up 1% from the gap up, but falling from the open. MU getting closer to all-time highs. Rivian up 4%. CoreWeave is the strongest on my board. It's up 10%. Oracle's up 6.5%. PDD's up 6%. Got a lot of green coming in today. A lot of green to start the day. VIX now below 16. So I had talked about, I think it was during a Power Hour live stream, I was going to buy some VIX puts if we had a another little spike after CPI, but VIX has been all pretty much contracting. So here's the one that I had up. So let's see, on this $2,700 in risk, it'd be up $450. So yeah, almost 20% at this point with this VIX contraction. MU trying to push above yesterday's high. I'm going to put in order to close some of my
Order
MU
partially
swing
filled.
trade at $5.50.
Order filled. Order filled.
Had to withstand a ton of premium decay on that, so I'm just trying to reduce risk if I can get a quick pop. So the dip in S&P and NASDAQ pushing. I really wanted to see a 15-minute close over pre-market high in SPX, previous day high in QQQ. Obviously, it's running away from those levels, but NASDAQ up almost 4% now. Tesla back in the green. Meta trying to go green. Amazon trying to go green. Google just went green again. Bitcoin bouncing back. Banks still staying strong. All systems go. Now I just need to find an entry. Chips are acting super strong after the weakness they've seen. I'm not sure if that's just a little squeeze coming in or if there's some news going on. All right, I got filled in MU at 550 to close some of that swing trade. Now I need Meta and Tesla to get on board with that move higher. Goog hanging around previous day high. I was hoping to catch this move in SPY from pre-market highs up to previous day high if we were bullish. It did give a dip, but I was waiting for a little bit more confirmation. Moved a little too quickly. NASDAQ or Nvidia up 3%. MU's up 7%. AVGO up 3%. AMD up 5%. SMH, the ETF's up 3% itself. PLTR's up 2%. Now, why is there such a big discrepancy in the high of day from SPX to SPY? Previous day high. SPX is above yesterday's high, but SPY is not even close. Huh. Jeez, chips are just pumping. SMH, big volume. All the other chip stocks are pretty low volume on this push, though. Nvidia tiny compared to the first bar. With this bullish price action right out of the gate, probably would not have boded well for the old OPEX calendar, so it may have dodged a bullet not being able to get filled on that yesterday. Depending on where the SET price comes out at. Today is either 0 day or 7 DTE. If I take anything on the stream here, I'll most likely do 7 DTE unless specified otherwise.
Yeah, super solid trades all around today, right? There was a decent amount of trades. AMD and Nvidia doing well today. AMD and Nvidia super nice trades. Palantir super nice trade as well. That one was a very simple break and retest. QQQ nicely pushing up. Tesla even potentially, if you took the one candle rule on Tesla for a move down into previous lows, that one was solid as well. So there was definitely a decent amount of setups today, just depending on which one you took. Palantir, Nvidia, AMD, and even Tesla to the downside. I just mentioned you guys.
But yeah, for the overall markets, Q's 613. You can see that nice one outside for that previously has been defended.
So we got Google chopping right near previous day high, which is right under pre-market highs here. Kind of a little flush early and then bounced nicely with the strength of everything else.
That was a solid level. And then really Q's now, the next level I have is 618. So it's kind of key from under previous day highs. And the next level, major level, is 618 SPY.
Bitcoin dipping a little bit.
So just like the same base above this 670 for potential push towards the upside here.
PLTR making another leg up.
Order filled. Order cancelled. Order partially filled.
Yeah, Palantir is super nice. Like I said, you want to be out of a decent amount of position. Just make sure you scale some on Palantir. All four tickers to NG. Mention all QQ, AV, and Palantir. Yeah, like that's what I said, right? Anything still saying so today would have been a decent setup for a move to the upside. It's funny because today is quantum machine. Sometimes it will happen. It's a super nice trend on days like this, right?
Well, would have had to jump in pretty early to catch any of these moves. I mean, AVGO made a nice pause at previous day high. AMD, MU just kind of ripped through theirs. PLTR made a little pause after its first 5 minutes. not really a level to manage risk from. Nvidia just, I guess it kind of paused after its first 5-minute bar, but again, just kind of needed to be quick on a long entry here to catch any of this. Tesla trying to stay green here. Same with Meta. Microsoft, which was acting weak, is now bouncing back up towards highs. Crypto stocks are just kind of choppy. Hood, Circle, MSTR, and Coin all kind of choppy. Oracle, nice little bounce up over 7%. CoreWeave still the strongest on my board, up 12% and pushing new highs of day. CoreWeave's been kind of getting beat up pretty good lately. AVGO now dipping. PLTR kind of pushed above that consolidation on the daily chart. Now it's kind of pulling back. S&P still near highs. If you're just looking for action, Dark Avenger, go to Vegas. You're in the wrong place, my friend. ARM is really the only chip stock I see that's not showing a lot of strength. Goog dipped back below previous day high. Oh yeah, thanks, Chad. Consumer sentiment and home sales here in 5 minutes. They're labeled as orange folders on Forex Factory, so most likely not too much, but you never know. Make it a little shake and bake. AMD still pumping new highs. I would like one more really nice push out of MU and I'll get out of most of that swing trade. See if this news can give us one more leg up. Nvidia's little dip getting bought back up. PLTR's dip getting bought back up. Tesla's still trying to stay green. Tesla had flushed the overnight lows. See if that was a little sweep before it's going to rally. S&P new highs. S&P up 0.75%. NASDAQ up 1.15%. Well, that MU move is not good for our earnings fly, if anyone still has that on. But helped my swing trade, so I'm okay with it. Still no risk to the upside, but looks like I'll book that upside risk on my last contract on the MU fly. SPX running into its upper expected move. News came out, little bullish bump. AMD flying. TSM flying. Nvidia flying. I need MU to fly. Meta, no bullishness on that bounce. Did Nike get hammered? Yeah, sure did. Well, now I'm going to watch and see if get a reaction, kind of a rejection near previous day high here in SPY. Rejection around the expected move in SPX. PLTR pushing back up towards highs. MSTR is up 3.5%, but I'm going to need a big bounce in that one for my swing trade. Still have 14 DTE on that, but MSTR has been pretty weak. PLTR pumping. Yeah, Caterpillar had a push above previous day high, kind of chopped around. Now it's going again. I don't really trade cat, but yeah, those options. I mean, it's a $580 stock, but the options are $3 wide. No, thank you. Meta looks like it wants to push through lows. It was almost the exact same as yesterday, Django. I have it marked at 39.76. Where's Krish in his morning post of the expected move? He's slacking. Krish, are you here? Krish must be sleeping. Coin pushing to lows. Meta dipped through lows, but kind of an aggressive little bounce. Well, not really. Little bounce so far. S&P, NASDAQ, after the news and the push, kind of pulling back. MU pulling back to previous day high. Most chip stocks kind of pausing here. Banks are staying strong. Crypto's still kind of choppy.
Order filled. Order cancelled. Order partially filled. Order filled.
All my BICs are unstopped so far. None of the call sides got hit on the up move. So now the question is, we've obviously had an extended move higher. We're getting some pullbacks. PLTR is still moving up. So the question is, do you want to buy the dip here? I was kind of looking at Meta or Tesla as a potential short. If this market rolled over, they may go through lows. But I'm just going to hold off for now. Not dying to get into a trade like Dark Avenger. I'm okay not taking a trade Dark Avenger. How about you? Goog pushing through highs. Up through pre-market highs. No, I don't scale out on BIX unless it's like the end of the day and I'm just trying to preserve capital for a, like I did, I think it was earlier this week maybe. Or I just took some off before MOC because I didn't want to give up a bunch of profits I had, but otherwise I leave them on all day. Did anybody catch some of that up move? Hopefully somebody jumped in on one of those little pauses and got a piece. Meta and Tesla staying pretty weak here. This market decides to pull a little reversal, they could definitely drop. It appears. Tezzy's trying to hang on to green. Meta's still a little bounce after kind of ticking through lows. Goog all of a sudden catching some fire. PLTR still holding near highs. PLTR kind of paused at that top of that consolidation area from December 10th, but it's kind of popping back above now. MU is dipping. I was hoping it wasn't done yet to the upside. NVIDIA dipping. Zooming out a little bit here on QQQ, this is an hourly chart. You can see we came up and hit kind of that area where we've bounced, dropped. So it's been definitely an area where action has happened. SPY, you could draw a trend line here where it's kind of bumping up against something similar. We need Tezzy to make a new all-time high. Bitcoin popping back up hard. MSTR up to highs, circle through highs, hood through highs. Banks are still moving up. Rotating out of chips into cryptos, apparently. Bosch, what is the difference between exhaustion and capitulation? How do you identify them? I mean, the real answer is you don't know until after the fact. Some things that you can look for as potential hints that it might be is, like, let's take MU as an example. I mean, it had obviously all the chips did, but it had a really strong move up through its previous all-time high. And then, you could look at like volume, for example. Like if we would have had a push through a major key level like that, like all-time highs, just an explosive move like we saw. But if it had like a huge volume spike, I would look at that as potential exhaustion. Now we didn't get the volume spike. We are getting a pullback. So right now it kind of looks like that was exhaustion, right? But the reality is you don't ever know until after the fact. But really, it's an explosive move through a key level. From a psychological standpoint, it's like they're just sucking all the bulls in, all the breakout traders in, and then immediately flushing them out and reversing very quickly. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So in my mind, I would say that MU, that was that was more exhaustion to me, and now it's just having kind of a natural pullback. Whereas capitulation is a very kind of an extreme move in both directions very quickly. And you'll see it on both sides. On the downside, flushing out to the downside with massive volume, and then a quick spike up, and then you'll see it a lot of times near all-time highs or very key levels to the upside where it does kind of the same thing. Does that make sense? Bitcoin popped up to yesterday's high.
Order cancelled. Order filled. Order cancelled. Order partially filled.
Yeah, like I said, you really don't know until after it's already happened. There's no magic sauce to let you know when it's happening at the time. I mean, that kind of looks a little capitulating in Bitcoin right now. So you had that big volume spike and it pushed through previous day high. It immediately reversed. So all you can do is take the data that you have in front of you and then it just comes down to, okay, here's what it looks like. Here's how much risk I'm okay exposing to see if I'm right on this theory. I mean, that's trading. Trading is all about tendencies, there are no certainties. It's just all about tendencies and kind of taking the info in front of you and being willing to expose whatever amount you're willing to risk on that thesis. S&P, NASDAQ still holding up pretty well. Russell holding up pretty well. Most chips still holding up pretty well. MU's actually dipping the most. Tesla back in the red. Meta made a new low. AVGO kind of chopping near highs. So I would definitely classify that as definitely short-term capitulation in Bitcoin right there. And then the time frame you're focused on makes a big deal too. Like if you look at a daily chart and you weren't looking at a 5-minute chart of Bitcoin, would you call that capitulation? No, not even close. But looking at a 5-minute chart, absolutely, right? So it's the time frame, the perspective makes a difference too. Meta staying weak. MSTR had kind of a similar price action as Bitcoin. So did Hood. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap the stream. Continue to watch here. If I see something develop that I like, I will post in the directional trade channel. Otherwise, everybody have a good day. We'll see you in Power Hour. No trades this morning, but like I said, I'll keep watching, see if anything comes about. All right, all. Take care. Have a good day. See you in Power Hour.